Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. It's been a hot minute. I had Japan for 2 weeks where I was able to play God of Legacy on the last Saturday I was there, and then I got COVID, so I've been out of action for a little while. I still have symptoms a little bit, so I might sound a little bit different, and I apologize for that, but it is the 30th of the month and I really want to get this done before the end of the month. This is a donation deck list from That Maverick Joe, and it's a really cool take on Abzan Mav. This deck is also playing a new card, Wrenn and Realmbreaker, which is a 3 mana, 1 double green planeswalker. Let's bring it down here. Which is pretty sweet. Straight away, it is a 3 mana walker that we can power out on turn 2, and it ticks up to 5 loyalty straight away, which is really nice. It has the static ability of lands you control have add 1 mana of any color, which is really nice, especially when we have Wasteland, you know, Guy's Cradle in the deck, which means we can actually tap it without having creatures on the board. And the +1 is up to target land, so you don't actually have to create a 3/3 elemental creature straight away with a land, but we have a +1 of up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, hexproof, and haste until your next turn. It's still a land. So a few key things here. Up to 1 target land you control. So you can tick this up without actually targeting anything. It can be 0. It becomes a 3/3 elemental creature with vigilance, which means you can still tap it for mana, which is pretty great as well if you want to hold up Swords to Plowshares. It has hexproof straight away, which means that your opponent on their turn can't interact with it at sorcery speed, and also it's not like it becomes a creature and then gains hexproof. Your opponent doesn't have a way to, say, Swords to Plowshares this creature at any point, which is fantastic. It has haste, which is really nice. It means that I believe you can, on turn 4, I guess, play this for 3 mana and then attack with a land as well. And then it's until your next turn. So it's also a 3/3 vigilance hexproof haste creature that can save Wrenn from potentially an attacker, which is really, really nice. The mill 3 cards for a -2, you may put a permanent card from among those milled into your hand. A little bit like Savine's Reclamation, where you get to get back something. Obviously, Savine's is a little bit better on mana, and it puts it into play, but I really like here that it gives you the ability to replace Wrenn straight away. So if your opponent uses something like a Lightning Bolt on Wrenn, you still have a card that you've got back, which is really nice. And then the -7 or Ultimate isn't that far away, which is you get an emblem with you may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard, which is huge. You know, this is only, what, 4 turns after Realm is on the field that gets to occur, which is really nice. And I guess if you -7, you can then just play Wrenn again from your graveyard, which is pretty insane. So a few things I like about this card. It's a 3 mana walker. You're playing it in a deck where you can accelerate on turn 1 with mana, so you can get onto playing on turn 2, and then also just kind of, it isn't in bolt range at any point, which is fantastic. Making your lands creatures as well is really nice. The 3/3 is a little bit rough against the body of a card like Endurance, being a 3/4, and it might make your opponent have to wasteland the land you target in response to the ability. So if you want to maybe pressure your opponent into using a wasteland on a land you don't really care about, you can try to do that. But I think Wrenn has some really nice play in Maverick because you are a lands deck, you are a creature deck, so you do have permanent spells, and Wrenn just works really nicely in there. It's also a green card which can be pitched to Endurance, which is nice. But overall, I think it's really nice to have 2 in the deck. Hopefully we see it in a few of these matches, and it has a pretty good impact on those matches. Joe was talking about Blue-White X and Fed X being what he's targeting with the main deck, and then a lot of combo hate in the board. which is exactly what we see here. You know, Wrenn is great against the grindy decks, whether that's creature decks or blue-red or blue-white X decks. We have the 4 swords, the Plague Engineer, the Grists to get rid of creatures. The 4 Esper Sentinels are really nice as well. Secretly, my favorite turn 1, turn 2 play now on Legacy is most likely Esper Sentinel turn 1 into Thalia turn 2. And Joe's gone ahead with just going with the full 4 Esper Sentinels and then the 3 Thalias. And a few things here. It's really nice to have a bit of saturation around the 1 CMC creature drops because you want to have more for Fiend Artisan and you want to have more online before you drop a Fiend. Esper Sentinel as well is just a great way to draw cards. This card has been insane for me in Legacy, and especially in a deck where you have Exalted as well. Being able to attack for Exalted and then make your opponent pay an extra 2 or even 3 in the second main when they want to maybe counter something that you play, it has just been awesome. There's no Solitudes in the deck, so there's no way to kind of pitch the Thalias that we get once one is on the field, so having only 3 is quite nice there as well. The Endurances, I always really like having 2 in the main deck. It's just a great card. It's very versatile. It's great against combo decks. It's good against creature decks, no matter if that's a Knight of the Reliquary deck or a Delver of Secrets deck. We also have the Safekeeper. Safekeeper is a Green Sun's target that I would say is on the kind of maybe board for a lot of players. I really like it in this version. As Maverick Joe has said, he really likes it with Gaddock Teeg against some of the combo decks. Just a way to protect it is really nice. Even Collector Oof is really nice to protect as well. Obviously, Oof is great against 8 cast, and one of their main ways to get rid of Collector Oof is Ottawara and bouncing it, which Safekeeper can protect you from, which is really nice. The mana base. What we have here that might just stand out is a basic Swamp and a Bojuka Bog. The Bojuka Bog's in the deck because we have the Reclaimers, which allow us to have the Bojuka Bog online as early as turn 2, which is really nice. I think anything slower, it's just not worth having the Bog. So if you're running, say, Knight of the Reliquary, then it's just not really worth it because there's not too many decks these days that care about their graveyard past turn 1 or 2. Maybe I want to re-say that. I think for the decks that you want Bojuka Bog against, being maybe Cephalid Breakfast or Reanimator or, you know, the odd Dredge player or Lands player there, it's just too slow off another Reliquary. But if you're on the play and you have a Reclaimer, then, you know, sometimes turn 2 is more than fine, and just being able to hold it up is really nice as well. So having the Bog there is really nice. The creature base for Mana Dorks, we have 3 Noble, 2 Birds, 1 Triad Arbor. I could see a world where it's worth having an Ignobled Hierarch over the other birds, but also having access to white mana is relevant. So I definitely don't mind this. We also have the 3 Fiend Artisans instead of the full 4, which is something that I have also been feeling, is that you don't want too much fluff in the deck, being Green Suns and Fiend. So obviously having 8 ways to tutor for any creature in the deck, or 8 ways to tutor for any green creature in the deck, 4 ways to tutor for any non-green is fantastic. But there have been times where I felt like having the 4 Green Suns and the 4 Fiend was just a little bit too much, and having that extra slot for something else in the deck to tutor 4 instead of the 4th Fiend Artisan is really nice. So definitely on the board there. Onto the sideboard, Chalice. Chalice is a card that we haven't seen too much of recently in Maverick, but I really like it, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a little while. I've been wanting to play it for probably a month or so now. I really wanted to put it in my board for God of Legacy, but just didn't end up doing it. And you can see here it's kind of in the position of Deafening Silence. Deafening Silence is nice. It's obviously great against the Dark Ritual decks, and any decks that just want to go wide really early, either with spells in the stack or spells in play, like 8 cast. Chalice, however, is something you can do on turn 1 alongside Thoughtseize or Esper Sentinel, because you can Chalice on 0 against a lot of the Lotus Petal decks, whether that's Doomsday, Ant, Tess, Esper, 8 cast, Reanimator. There's a lot of decks where Chalice is still great. And if you do have a plan against Allosaurus Shepherd, there we go, it can be good against Elves as well. Having access to Plague Engineer, Trophy, Chalice is really nice there. But yeah, I really like that we can double spell on turn 1 with Thoughtseize or Esper Sentinel with Chalice against the combo decks where you really have to not only apply disruption, but also pressure. And I think having those together is really, really nice. So Chalice will be interesting because I think during the matches, if we do come up against a combo deck where Chalice is relevant and bring it in, we'll definitely take note of, hey, how would this match have panned out if we did have Deafening Silence over Chalice? Was Chalice better? Was Deafening Silence maybe something that we should consider? So pretty keen to see how that goes. The other card that Joe mentioned was Opposition Agent, which he's gone for Gaddock Teeg instead, as it just has a bit more hate against combo. And I don't mind that. I think the Opposition Agent is nice, but a lot of the times, especially if you're holding it up, your opponent just knows. It's one of those cards that if you play in a certain way to hold it up, your opponent can play around it. And Gaddock Teeg obviously turning off Green Sun Zenith, Natural Order, and a lot of combo cards. I think the Teeg is really nice, especially with the Safekeeper as well. So Teeg in here is really cool. Guy's Blessing. To be fair as well, one thing I will note is that when Maverick Joe sent this list, they also talked about what they play locally and how they've been fighting against that. So here we're looking at a deck where locally they want to fight against Blue, White, X Control, and FedEx in the main deck, and then just have combo hate in the sideboard for decks like Painter, Doomsday, and Elves. And obviously Guy's Blessing is a great card against Painter, and it also can come in against potentially some of the graveyard decks, but it's really nice to be a card we can cast as well. Sometimes you'll see Blessing in a non-green deck where it's just there for pretty much Painter. So having it there as a card we can pitch, even pitch to Endurance if needed, is really nice. Another Plague Engineer, obviously just a really key card. I have seen a lot of players just play one, including myself, but a lot of the time you just want a second one, whether that's to name another creature or just to increase your chances of actually finding it. I definitely don't mind having the second Plague Engineer in the board. Although it could be another card, although this could be potentially a spot for Opposition Agent or another removal spell. I think the Plague against the decks left in the format where it is well positioned, it's just so well positioned that I enjoy having the thought of having two. Whether that's Elves, and then being able to name, Insect, or Elf again to kill maybe a Elvish Reclaimer, or, Dryad Arbor. I think the Plague's really strong. 2 trophies, just kind of a catch-all. Really nice to have in the deck. There's not too many things it doesn't hit. Obviously, the downside is that you are somewhat of a mana denial deck, being on Esper Sentinels, Thalias, and Wastelands, and you are giving your opponent access to basics, but in the post-game matchups against a lot of the decks that do play basics, they go for them early on because of Wasteland, and so sometimes by the time you find Trophy and fire it off, they actually don't have any basics left to grab. So Trophy is really there as just a catch-all. Really nice against Delver, as it hits anything from Delver, DRC to Murktide. And then 2 Force of Vigors. Force just one of those cards that I find is insane in the matchups where it's good. 8 cast, lands, any sort of deck where you kind of have to keep up on an unfair scale with the opponent and how they can build out their deck so fast. So, being able to take out something like a turn 1 Saga and Mox Diamond is exactly where you want to be. Or even taking out like a turn 1 Library and a Moxen is pretty sweet. So, Joe, a huge thank you for sending this through. I'm really keen to try it out. I'm really keen to get into this. But yeah, a big thank you to you and your patience, of course, being off this week with sickness. So to get here and to be able to jam some Legacy, first time since got a Legacy, this is gonna be really fun. So I hope you all enjoy this. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to get more interaction with you guys. And until then, we'll see you in round 1. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. We are in game 1 with a pretty sweet hand. We're going to keep this. We do have the Collector Oof, which is a bit of a silver bullet, but we have the Grist, just in case it is a dead card to actually make use of it. So pretty happy with this. Mountain Pass. So a few things first up. This could be Burn, but I'm going to put them on some sort of mono red deck that is most likely mono red Stompy. And I actually think with this hand, I don't mind trying to bait them into a turn 2 Moon effect over some sort of Goblin. So here I don't mind Bayou into Bird. This also allows us to grist next turn. It also allows us to play Reclaimer and Oof. Ooh, Rider Flame. Well, maybe the Collector Oof is going to be worth it. This could just be, okay. Yeah, Mono Red Storm. It's a lot of mana. At least we have the Collector Oof if it does, if we do get like another turn, but this is looking just to be most likely game if they're going to go for this much mana on turn 1. In the blind, this is probably also a matchup where I would most rather have Deafening Silence over Chalice, but you never know. Okay, so they have a lot of mana. They do have Burgie and a Petal, but they only have one card in hand left. It has to be a pretty good card, right? They went off with mana so early that... Okay. Oh, Galvanic Relay. That is next turn, but still. We're just going to 6 here as well. There's not too much we can do. Oh, they hit a Burning Wish? Okay. I think the best draw off the top is probably just Karakas for the Burgie and then play Collector Oof. I'm probably playing the Collector Oof next turn if we do get another turn. And just a land. I guess we can play both Reclaimer and Oof. I don't think gristing away the bird to hit the Burgie is where I want to be, but it's definitely tough. Alright, here's the relay. Which is obviously pretty strong at 13. Yeah. Okay. Well, they hit a lot. They only hit one Lotus Petal, but potentially there's a world where Oof is good enough, because I assume this deck is playing some sort of LED interaction. Burgie by itself. There's also the thought here of just play the board. And the board is that I should get rid of the Burgie, but seeing how much they exiled, it's a tough spot. It's actually a pretty good kind of what to play. Would you go with dealing with the Burgie, which they don't have in hand? Or would you do something else? So they have Burning Wish, Season Song, Burning Wish, Resolve, Resolve. I think it is take out the Burgie, but yeah, I think it is the Burgie here. It's tough because we do obviously have a fair amount of outs in like Swords to Plowshares, Karakas, etc., but I think here we're just trying to take them off as much mana as possible, and that's by taking out the Burgie. So there goes the Ruby. Cool deck. I really enjoy seeing this deck in Legacy. Although it usually is just too fast for decks that I play, It's really cool to see like a mono-colored legacy deck that is also a combo deck. You don't often see that. You often see like at least some sort of splash, but I feel like this deck is, you know, most likely red, other than maybe like a Tendrils in the board or something. I think Tony Scaponi was kind of the pioneer of this kind of deck. Does stream as well, if you want to find him on Twitch. But yeah, this is probably a matchup where it would be nice to have the Deafening Silencers, just because they don't run too many 0 mana spells, and I feel like on turn 1 you really need to hit, so we'll probably be looking for a turn 1 Thoughtseize, and then possibly a Chalice on top of that. I believe bonus round gives them another turn. No, it gives you an extra copy of yeah. This could just be empty. Oh, they go for Grape Shot. Okay, that makes sense. Which I assume. So they get an extra copy of Grape Shot. And then the copies go on the stack. Wonder if they have like another Past in Flames. Ah, it's already in the bin. But it is 5 mana. And then I guess they can... I guess it's 4 mana with the flashback. Thanks to the Ruby. And then they have the Petal as well to go off. So, yeah. Flashback, potentially Ritual, and then just Grape Shot again. This is a tough one as well, because obviously the Burgie's annoying, but I probably don't want to keep in all 4 Swords to Plowshares. But I also want to have it when it comes down. Okay. Endurance also pretty nice, especially in response to a Burning Wish. Endurance is a pretty easy one. The Forces, I mean, you could make you could pretty much bring in all of these, like Plague Engineer also hitting Empty the Warrens. Probably Guy's Blessing isn't needed. But the Thoughtseizers, the Chalices, the Teeg, there's a lot of good cards here. I'm just going to concede. They obviously have it, so here we go. What don't we want? The Ramanap's a little bit slow. The Wrenn's probably just not for this matchup. I don't mind the Fiend Artisans. I don't mind trimming some number of swords. Thalia's Collect Oof, these are all nice. The Reclaimers getting Bog are pretty nice as well. The Safekeeper is fine, but there's not too much that I'm worried about. I really like the Chalices and the Thoughtseizers and the Teeg, to be fair, and the Forces and the Endurance and the Plague, but I don't want to overboard. I don't mind one Grist. I don't mind the Esper Sentinels. Krakus and Bog are both relevant. Wasteland's relevant. I really don't want to die to empty, but there's also the case of like maybe this is just enough to not die to empty, that I don't need the extra Plague Engineer. Grist being removal for Bergie is nice. I could see just a cut down on Mana Dorks. Obviously the nice inclusion of Mana Dorks is that you have access to turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Green Suns for either Teeg or Oof. Liberator could just be too slow, but I don't mind that if there's sort of a slower match, that Liberator flipping and attacking can get rid of things like rubies. I could see just 2 Endurance being enough. Like, although Endurance is good against the Past in Flames lines, I feel like what we're bringing in really restricts how good Past in Flame lines can be. Also with the Reclaimers into Bog, it's quite nice to have. It's actually pretty tough. It could just be going down to 22 lands. Like, we have cut a fair chunk of things out that I don't mind that. And then it's just one more card. It's probably a sword. 1 sword and 1 grist. No land. Okay. Swamp and Chalice. Yeah, this isn't getting anywhere. Look, not great either. But I don't really want to go to 4. I think it's the Liberator. What do we have here? I really want the turn 1 bird. Turn 2 Fiend Artisan, which turns the bird into something on turn 3. I think I'm fine with letting them have Bergie if they have Bergie. And then it's between the Liberator and the Endurance here. I think it's the Liberator, just because if I drew into a green card, I also just have Endurance backup if needed. But Liberator is pretty nice as well. Especially if they do play like turn 1 Ruby. Yeah, I think for that reason. Tough. Maybe the land is greedy, but I think 22 lands and still having 4 Mana Dorks is more than enough. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That kind of just gives us a free way to spend this Liberator. Okay, there's Bergie. Esper Sentinel. I think here we just go Sentinel into 3/4. I don't mind. It's actually pretty. This is actually a little bit tricky. 3/4. It's either Grist, get rid of Bergie. This might be another one. So we have things like Diamond covered, which is nice. They also had no turn one play, and this was their turn 2 play, of course. So I could see a world where we just go for Grist. It's definitely tough. Teeg turns off, like, some things. Teeg also turns off her own force. This is actually a better screenshot as well. Apologies. Have a good think. I think it is just Grist. Just keep the board clear. And then the Grist with the Fiend Artisan is quite nice. Potentially turning 2/3 a token next turn into Thalia, or Gaddock Teeg. But opponent thinking is always tough. I assume that is them counting. Kind of hope it's like that horn. I think it really has to be an artifact or an enchantment here for us to stay in the game. And it just can't be Defense Grid. Urabrask. Very interesting. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deals 1 damage to target opponent, add red. Wow. Aethersworn Canonist would also be very strong in this list because you have Fiend Artisan. Fiery Confluence. Okay. Plague isn't great. Start with ticking up Grist. Windswept. And then it's probably just... getting Gaddock Teeg here, which turns off 1, 2, 3. Seems quite strong. It's really nice that Fiend Artisan's also like a Green Sun Zenith that worked under Teeg. I really like that. Because if I go for another hate bear like Thalia, it just dies to the fiery compliments if they have a land, which I believe this is just a land they can pay 3 for, yeah. Also turns off this side, right? Because it's got an X. Yeah. Teeg doing work in 2023? What is this? What is this? I feel like they just realized that they can't do what they wanted to do. Burning Wish. Maybe Grape Shot to take out the Teeg? That actually makes a lot of sense. So we could Endurance ourselves if we draw Endurance to put it back into the deck and then Fiend Artisan for it, but otherwise that Teeg is gone. Okay. Take up the Grist. We hit a bird. 2/3 mana. This is actually a tough one. Two, three. Green Suns for 2 doesn't get a whole lot, especially with the Fiery Confluence there. I guess that allows me to attack with the Fiend Artisan, which is nice. I really wanted to Endurance, but obviously we didn't have the mana for it. I wonder if here we just see a Sorcery Speed Fiery Confluence for turn, which is almost lethal with the Grist, or potentially turns off the Ancient Tomb next turn. Yeah, because now they're at 7. Okay. Medallion Seething Song. Okay. And that's fine. We hit a creature here. Oh, that's just lethal, right? We get to Green Suns for an Exalted creature? Hell yes! Hell yes! Love to see it. Get in there, buddy. Get in there. Wow. On a pretty rough mull. Like, that's part of the deck. I get it. Mulligan is part of Magic. Variant is what makes the game great, but we didn't really have that much of a great plan, but it worked out pretty well. Honestly, I could see trophies over the forces, just because trophies also hit Bergie, and that big flying creature we saw. I don't mind one force. I also don't mind the extra Wrenn on the draw, just because we are playing that little bit slower, a little bit more slowly. That it's a case of, can we get to turn 1 or 2? But maybe the extra endurance. I don't mind dropping the Reclaimer, just because the Bog is a little bit slower on the draw. I think that's fine. But some sort of like 2-land endurance and Thalia hand would be sweet. This isn't the worst. I'm going to keep this because we can still Wasteland and Chalice potentially turn 1, which is 2 points of interaction. We also have mana online. I think here I still like Wasteland and Chalice for 0, just to turn off Petal effects. Like, I don't think we have the time to necessarily cast this on 1, while also getting rid of these. But the Burgy starts are really strong. And potentially, like, if that trophy was a Swords to Plowshares, I guess we wouldn't have the white, but it's definitely a world where it was better. They have 1 card left. Oh, they get to cast the Horn. Tough. Is this just going to be empty? Which I assume will kill us. 14, 3, 17. Yeah, even if we draw perfect in, like, land Plague Engineer. Boston Flames. Surely they still have an empty. There are ways that this can bolt, but maybe not. Okay. Past in Flames. Mountains. Still nothing. There we go. There's the wish. Alright, we'll see you in round 2. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Here for round 2. This hand has spells and mana, but doesn't really have too much of a plan. The Outland Liberator could be dead. I'm pretty happy to mulligan this for a hand with a lower curve. This does have a lower curve, but it also has pretty terrible mana. And I'm not a big fan of keeping one-landers, so... This is actually pretty good. I'm going to keep this and bottom the Fiend Artisan. We have turn 1 Sentinel, turn 2 Thalia. It's probably the Green Suns that I drop here. And then we can just play a pretty fair, basic start. Okay. Well, I guess the Outland Liberator would have been pretty nice. It's going to be 8 cast. Hit Sai, Otawara, Emery, Thoughtcast. Another 1-drop is not great. Question is, do I even want to hit the Ancient Tomb? I don't think I do, because I would hate to wasteland them and then them just play some sort of, you know, maybe another Lotus Petal and then a Saga. Also, me getting to 2 mana and actually getting this Winterpeath. Getting the Thalia down is pretty big. They actually just saw the Thalia as well, the Bauble, the one card that I probably don't want them to see. This is a matchup where I do like Chalice over Deafening Silence, though. Tough. That's probably why I do want a Wasteland. Yikes. Alright. We have the Chalices. We have the Forces. That's probably gonna be it. The trophies are interesting, but the Thalias can come out. The Wrenns are probably just a little bit too slow here, to be fair. That is 60, so... I guess trophy hitting Chalice is... Maybe this is okay. Like, I don't mind having a Plague Engineer for Thopters. The Bog's fine. I don't mind Sentinels, but I could see Sentinels coming down. Yeah, turn 1 Chalice, Emery, turn 2 Kappa. On a 5? Not coming back from that. This isn't great. Just a bunch of nothing. It does have Force, which I don't mind. So I'm going to bottom the Swamp here. Keep the Dried Arbor for the Force. But obviously a Chalice start would have been fantastic. It's like a turn 1 double spell hand. Reclaimer also gives us access to Karakas for both Emery and Sai, which is nice. Okay. Thankfully don't care about that too much. I'm just going to fetch now. Probably get the swamp and pass. If I can hit a Saga and the Chalice with this force, I'd be very happy. Another Chalice. Okay. There's a Saga. I guess I could also just not care about this and get Wasteland with Reclaimer. I don't mind that. I also don't want to give them a blue land. Okay. It does turn on the Wasteland next turn, which is quite nice. They have another artifact, then the Saga token becomes a 4/4, which means the Reclaimer can't attack. So if it is just past here, that's pretty huge for us, because then we get the Wasteland back. They could also have... They can't have Needle naturally, which is nice. There's the Petal, okay. Make the token now. Ah, okay. They must have hit... Okay, there we go. I was going to say another bobble. It's pretty good. What if we get back a land here? Swamp. Hit the construct. And then attack. I don't mind that. It didn't use the bauble, so they obviously just want the big Saga token. I guess like there's a world where like the Wasteland's better because then they don't get the token here. I kind of forgot that Trophy gives them the extra mana here. I thought that they wouldn't be able to because of the tomb being on 2 life, but hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Because now I guess they use Saga to get Needle and Wasteland. But then if they do that, we can just go wide and swing with everything, seeing they're at 2. Yeah, That's a tough one. They go for a Haywire Might. Okay. Just attack with all, right? Because I need a green for that to gain life. And if it dies, I've already dealt damage. I have one card left. I don't know what they could have. Like Brazen Borrower potentially would be a blowout, but if they have Brazen Borrower, that's fine. That's just life. Yeah. Nice. Do I want to change things? Do I want to change things? It usually is the size that get there, so I don't mind coming up on Plagues, going down on Sentinels. Potentially just a Thalia. Like Thoughtseize is interesting as well. Could see a Thoughtseize. They do draw a lot of cards. Maybe even like 2 Thoughtseize over the Plagues. I'm happy to test out how Thoughtseize goes. Obviously Chalice for 1 is tough, but we have so many answers to Chalice for 1 that I'm not too afraid of it. 2 land, Force, green card, and Chalice is like what I'm looking for on the draw. The Force is to keep me in check. Yeah, see, just a little bit too slow. That once we're set up, they've obviously done what they want, so... this is better. Turn 1 Force. We have Wasteland for Saga. We have a answer for their turn 1 threat. I think this is a keep. Honestly, it could just be the Forest here, going down to 2 lands. I want to keep the safe keep for Force of Vigor, and then have the Green Suns to develop. Turn it on 6 as well. Okay. That's their turn. We're pretty happy to wasteland that. I could have also, to be fair, I could have gone Windswept Birds and then Upkeep, Force, Petal, and Saga, which they most likely have nothing for, seeing an instant speed they don't really do a whole lot. Like, is it too aggressive here to just go after their mana? I think it is, because even if we force them pitching Safekeeper to take out these 2, next time we play land into Bird, and then what? Like, I feel like Green Suns for Oof is what keeps these down, so I'm happy to hold up the Force for now. Another Bird. They're up to 4 cards. They could also be like on a Thought Cast, but I'm happy to allow this just for 1 more turn. Yeah, and there's the Thoughtcast. Okay. No land. Still happy just to pass back with the Force here, be patient, draw a land, and then Green Suns for collect Oof. Or that. pretty happy just to hold up the force here. Yeah, and then Green Sun's next turn. Also hold up Sword here. I could play Safekeeper and then just Green Suns for Oof next turn, but I think holding up Force Safekeeper is better. This way we also get to hold up the Sword. Side's going to be fine. Happy to Swords this. And if they want to force this, then they can't force the Green Suns, which is really nice. They brought in Flusterstorm? Okay. That is more than fine. I don't think I'm in a world yet where I need to force these, so happy to leave them. Also, land into Endurance just really allows me to hold up this board. Nice. Could also go for Fiend here and then just Fiend into Plague Engineer. I don't mind that either. I could have played the Sylvan Safekeeper then. Yeah. But now we still have Force up, which is kind of nice as well. I don't want to attack, of course, because the Oof just dies. But our opponent has one turn to get out of this. We're looking pretty good. One, two, three, four. Done. Get rid of Bird. Go on, get Plague. Thopter. No great attacks. Yeah, that is just the ball game. Which is really nice. I mean, that's exactly our game plan. Oof to slow them down, and then Plague Engineer to make sure we have Psy covered, and it worked out really well. So, always nice to see that. We'll see you for round 3. Hey team, welcome back. We're on the play, which is really nice for game 3, but our opener is just land Esper Sentinel. Another land would have been really nice with this, but that is fine. We'll mulligan it. Against the Yorion deck, I think here we're just bottoming the extra Thalia. But not too much to go here. The first thought is probably just going for a basic here. I really like just getting my mana online as early as possible, and I assume if they're on Yorion, it's probably D&T. Yeah, most likely Akrat's list. And with the Plague Engineer, it's quite nice to not have to worry about Mum here. So now we have some choices. Green Suns for Fiend Artisan is quite nice. I think that's just going to be the play. Because I really want to get this Plague Engineer online as soon as possible. It does open it up to removal, but we're just going to be pretty open to that here. Obviously, Mama to Stoneforge is probably their best start into... Oh, just Thalia? Okay. Well, now we get to do something pretty sweet. And I don't think we have the luxury of, like, waiting a full turn. And, like, playing one of these out to sack to the Fiend. It's always a nice little spot. This is also on humans, so they can't have something like Skyclave Apparition here. We did have the Caracas for the Thalia, but obviously Plague just hitting it is really nice as well. Probably going after green here. Makes most sense, yeah. There's nothing we can do at instant speed, so we'll just pass. Go to main phase 1. Can double spell here, which is really nice. Sure. Although Thalia is dead against this deck, we do have Grist to turn it into a removal spell, which is really nice. And hopefully, yeah, get some traction going after that, because Grist is a pretty great way to try to get this game sort of working in our favor. Oh, Solitude pitching Solitude is huge. Not even Solitude pitching Thalia, which is great for us. One card left. They probably try to get Flickwisp here and try to get that going. They go for Stoneforge. Okay. Reclaimer. Wow, they trade? I'm a huge fan of Recruiter for them. I think Recruiter is such a nice onboard removal spell that... Yeah, tough to see that go. Sorry, did I say removal spell? Such a good resource for them. Like, it turns on Flickwisp so well. I guess they have Stoneforge for that, but... Come on now. Does getting Dried Arbor here do anything? I guess it gets it out of the deck to potentially, if we draw into like a Grist off the top, that'd be pretty sweet. Or a Green Suns for Grist. A lot of good draws. That's not it. Quick look at the mana base. We do have a Canopy we can try to draw into. So we get 2 draws next turn. The Cavern really choking their mana as well. Like, they haven't had double white yet, it's turn 6. I think here we're just going to be dumping the Dried Arbor. Might as well attack with all, see how they block. Maybe not, maybe... I feel like attacking with everything makes him think we do have something. Gonna hold the land as well. There's no real point to keep that up. Yeah, definitely not the side of the deck that we've wanted so far. Definitely a tough part of playing Mav is making sure we have that. I mean, it's a nice start. Like the Plague Engineer being a 3-for-1 is pretty sweet. Swords, Mum and Thalia, but D&T just has so many ways of 2-for-1ing us that it's really tough to keep up with that. Like, even here, like, getting rid of a Flicker Wisp, just get rid of the Reclaimer, and also the, yeah, really aggressive Lions. Not attacking? Huh. Okay. Well, there's the Grist. Doesn't do a whole lot. I think there's a Bog, which is fine. There's no point blocking this. But now we're in a position where if we attack with the Thalia, potentially, they just have nothing. Yeah. Tough. Alright. Esper Sentinels out. Thalia's out. Thought Teasers and Plague. Trophies. I don't mind a Force. I think a Force is better than Endurance. Oh, Bog as well. But maybe just the Black Source. I don't mind just having it as a Black Source. Also Timeless Dragon, like, there are little things. Yeah, kind of sort of like our Thalia as percentile side of that deck just then, and just isn't where you want to be against D&T. But yeah, opponent, they're really aggressive and just like removing stuff, which I'll take. I'm happy for that. I'm okay with this. Thoughtseize off Bajuka Bog into Collect Oof into Plague Engineer. Did I say off Bajuka Bog? Off Bayou. Sorry, guys. Terrible. Alright, what can we not deal with here? I guess taking one Stoneforge is fine. Solitude's annoying, but yeah, I don't mind one Stoneforge. Like, even if we go Collect Oof into Grist, get rid of Collect Oof to deal with Stoneforge, they can Solitude in response, so gotta be wary of that. Okay. So there's Cavern. There's one Stoneforge. Now it's a tough spot. Because if we play Grist and tick down, and then they Solitude the Oof, and they untap Caldra the Grist, or even just stack with the Stoneforge, probably Caldra the Grist. Realm doesn't win either. I don't mind trying to take them off mana here, seeing that we have our third land. They miss. That's huge. Nice. Alright. Buys us another turn to draw into Source Plowshares here. Close-ish. This is the turn, because I really want to get this Verdant down. That's fantastic for us, because now we have Verdant into Dryad Arbor, which gives us 2 creatures. Plus the Wrenn, I guess. So now we're doing pretty well. Alright, so let's go fetch. Dryad Arbor. That's pretty cool. Nice. So now we get to attack with both. Solitude. Okay. Pitching Lawn. Sure. Now we have Grist. Tick down. This. Nice. Nice. That was a bit of a tightrope there with them not drawing into the Stoneforge and kind of knowing that, hey, if we don't take them off this land here, we don't have a great out to Caldra, which just destroys all the Planeswalkers we have. So we kind of have to take the risk of wasteland them off their second land, hope they don't draw into a second land again, and then get both creatures down and get there. So pretty happy with that. Do we want to change anything? I don't think so. Let's run this back. This is actually a tough one. Like 2 lands, but it's a forest and a wasteland. That's a yikes from me, dog. Okay. Still tough. But we will keep it. Especially as what do we bottom? I think it's the Dryad Arbor, just because I might want a Green Suns for it. But having the Dryad Arbor as a land is quite nice as well. Okay, that's pretty great. Let's go Savannah here into Noble. Keeping a 6 with no turn 1 play doesn't mean they have Swords to Plowshares, which is really nice for us. Spirit's going to be fine. Honestly, here I kind of just like Grist tick up. Go and get that Black Source. Windswept in the bin. Skyclave is fine. We'll get a 3/3 out of it, which is nice. Which also makes her attacks kind of awkward as well. Second Plague means I'm happy to play this first one. So let's go... This is a spirit, and this is a spirit? Oh, wow. Attack with Exalted. Jidei's annoying, but not the worst. Wow. Still get a 3/3 off the Assassin's Trophy, which is nice. I think just because some lists have been running around with Ephemerate, I'm pretty happy just to trophy the Skyclave now and get my 3/3. And then I do have Oof for the Jite if needed. I want to get my mana going instead of playing the Jide at the Collector Oof for Jide. So I think they're going to play the Yav, which is fine. So if I draw a land here, then I get access to both Collector Oof and also hold up Caracas. Oof. I guess Grist isn't as great. Because of the Caracas. So I think here we have to play Collector Oof and pass. Yeah. Wow, no attacks. Didn't expect that. I think here I just like holding up Fine Caracas with Reclaimer. Which is 2 mana, so it means I have 2 mana left over, which I can't do anything with. They don't have removal end step for the Collector Oof, which is great for us. This is fine. This is interesting because we get to get Caracas off the Reclaimer for Yorion and then gain the initiative. Very loose, in my opinion. Return this. Attack with all 3. Containment Priest? So now we get a basic. Yeah. Not too sure what our opponent was doing there. Maybe a new player to the deck, but really nice to win that. We are 2-1. So we'll see you. I should actually update that in the next one. Cheers. Hey team, welcome back. We are on the draw with a pretty nice opening hand. A lot of options, which is great. Pretty happy to keep this. Depending on what our opponent starts on, not too sure if we're going to go turn 1 Noble or turn 1 Esper. But either way, pretty happy with it. Plateau. Interesting. Pretty happy here just to go for a Savannah into Esper Sentinel. Plateau doesn't give away too much information. Maybe like a red-white taxes or red-white initiative. I guess red-white initiative. Well, that slows him down, which is nice. Oh, having the Collector Oof here for the Chrome Mox is really nice. Okay. What's 2 mana? Charles for 1? Okay. Annoying, but not the worst. I mean, to have the Collector Oof here turning off the Chrome Mox is nice. Green Suns for Outland Liberator to take out the Chalice would be pretty sweet. Yikes. It's a lot of 1-drops. I can't even... I guess I can Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Doesn't do a whole lot, so... I think here we actually just have to go for our own Thalia. Which taxes all their things like Fables and Chrome Moxes, etc. It does also tax us, but see how that plays out. No attacks, alright. Ooh. Means you get to attack with ours, which is nice. Probably don't mind playing the second one. Makes our Fiend Artisan bigger as well as a 3/3, which is relevant. Ooh, city's huge. Yeah. Still no attacks. No great attacks from us either. Sadly, Chalice is doing EP here. And I guess the Thalia is as well, but... Again, just one of those drawers. They also still have 5 cards in hand, which is pretty crazy. Touch, alright. We'll concede to that. I don't think we have a great way to stay in that game. I like the trophies as they hit everything from Chalice to... Seasoned Dungeoneer. The chalices are pretty interesting, but probably not worth it. The Thalias can easily come out. I don't mind the Plague. I don't mind the Thought Seizers over Esper Sentinels, I think. Pretty happy with that. Force of Vigor is actually pretty strong. Can take out an Endurance. Just more interaction is quite nice. And the second Plague's quite good. Not the greatest. I mean, it doesn't really deal with any of their attackers, but if they're on some sort of a goblin plan, then I do really like it. But I don't think Chalices just going for 0 is worth it. But if you're going for the Mana Denial plan, I could definitely see it. I feel like Oof just does that a little bit better. If you are trying to go down that line. Grist, Wrenn. Wrenn seems kind of cool. Like, I guess if we already have Wrenn in play, it's pretty good. But against Blood Moon, it's pretty sweet. This is a turn 2 Grist with turn 1 Dryad Arbor. I don't mind that. Also, having the second Green Suns for Outland Liberator or the Swords for removal is pretty sweet. But if we go for Bayou, we won't have white for Swords, but I think that's okay because we'll have the Grist for removal. Just a Tomb makes me really want to deal with this right now. And then probably just Green Suns for a Noble Hierarch because it gives me white mana. Fury would be pretty broken here. Okay. I mean, Solitude getting rid of a Sword to Plowshares as well? That's fine. Like, that's 2 great spells they're going after a Noble Hierarch? Come on now. That's fine. So they get the initiative, but we get to trade away then attack? Unless they also have Fury? They must have Fury if they're playing the Caves. Because they know about the Grist dealing with the Caves. No? Well, let's see what you got. Ah, okay, that's what you got. Well, we'll take 1 cave. Sack this. Deal with this. Attack first and get the planes out before we play the Reclaimer. Means we could hold up swords. Okay. There's the caves. Scry. Last card, swords. All right, 2 top, 0 bottom. Oh, we got a wasteland there. Nice. Bang. Take that initiative. You love to see it. No real changes, let's be honest. Let's just run this back. I would love to see Burden Forge Tender as a Fiend Artisan target. Aethersworn Canonist obviously is really nice. Kataki potentially against 8 cast. Fiend makes you want to play a lot more one-of creatures for sure, especially bullets like those on the board. This is just mana, which I am not too enthused to keep. Pretty easy mulligan, I think, yeah. Okay. It has mana and things. It's probably just the bird that I drop here. Archon, okay. Wow. That makes me pretty happy just to fetch for Savannah here, play Noble. They go for Scry, which makes me think they have either just nothing in hand, or they have threats which allow them to go wide and they don't need to just go all in on one big creature. So honestly, it doesn't give me too much information. That's what I'm saying. Two top. Okay. Liberator getting rid of touch is kind of cool. There's a world where I green suns for Dried Arbor there, and then play the Liberator with mana open, but I think this is going to be okay. Just one of those starts where we didn't have swords. Just like maybe it's worth having some sort of extra removal in the board that's a little bit faster than trophy. Like maybe the speed of Path to Exile is better than the flexibility of something else. Tough. No Fury, but pretty close to it. Sadly. Just one of those draws where they didn't really have to care about us, which is kind of sad, but that's how it plays out sometimes. We'll see you in the last one. Hey team, welcome back. We are on the... What are we on? We're on the play, which is kind of cool. With a hand that does some things. So pretty happy to keep this. Probably just going Forest Reclaimer. I could see Savannah Wasteland, Savannah Reclaimer, which allows us to, like, if we draw into like a Swords turn 1, gives us more options. I like that. Also, just having the backup of Reclaimer Endurance against a graveyard deck is really nice. Okay. Didn't expect Wasteland there, to be fair. That's fine. Fetchy would be kind of cool. Scrubland. I don't mind waste attack with both. Just keep getting little damage in. Then next turn we can play Scrubland, hold up 1. Maybe even hold up Caracas. Play Caracas, hold up 1 for Bojuka Bog. They bottom a Goyf, which makes me think they have another threat. They're probably also in a Stifle build, so I don't mind just going for Bog right now. I'm not going to play the Sentinel first, just in case they force it, which makes this a 3/4. Artifact creature land instant 4/5. Artifact creature land instant 4/5. Yeah. So let's play Sentinel. And then I will Green Suns here, probably just for Noble Hierarch. They want to daze it, we draw a card off the Sentinel. This is interesting. I don't mind blocking here. The Sentinel isn't attacking. It is taxing them or drawing cards, but if we're wanting to draw into removal, why not just trade the Sentinel for the Ranger here? I think I'm happy to trade. Maybe, no, actually no, we're at 18. We're at 18, I'm happy to take this. And if they need to cast something here, you know, like a Brainstorm or a Ponder, we'll take it. Another Sentinel's very good. Now it's tough. I could play I could just like pitch the Endurance, which draws me 2 cards anyway. And then if I take out, these become 2/3s. Hit them. Yeah, I'm okay with this. It's not. Oh, it's not us though. Ah, it doesn't work, does it? Because I want the lands for the Reclaimers. Oh no, was that a gaff? That was a gaff. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. What a waste. Oh. That's not good. I don't mind getting Cradle here. Cradle's pretty sweet with the Wrenn. Ramanap. Oof. Ramanap, get back. Oh no, Bog Ourselves doesn't work. This feels like Spell Pierce. Yeah. I didn't want to waste land because of Daze, but that's fine. I feel like we're making a few mistakes here, but I don't think it's changing things too much, but you never know. Can try to take them off green here, which is nice. I can't believe we threw away that endurance. I should have definitely thought about it. Look, sometimes you've got a few things going on. I've got a few screens here. I'm working with people, so it's not as easy as just being mined in the game. It should be though. It should be. Let's be. Yeah, it should be. Oh, these are now 6/7s? Crazy. I mean, Ramanap next turn. Oh, we don't even have a fetch land. I was going to say Ramanap can at least get back maybe Dried Arbor to attack with. But here we are. You can tell I'm rusty for sure. Do they attack? Attack with 1. Okay. They go to 5. Murktide. Ugh. Man, how good would that endurance be in hand, hey? Hmm. Really stuffed this up, didn't I? Apologies, team. Definitely not my best. Come on. 4, 5. Like, running the Wrenn into a Spell Pierce as well, like, so stupid. Now we're also coming to bolt range. Ugh. Guess we draw. Okay. Like, there's a world where I'm supposed to swords when I have mana to play around days, but here we are. I'm happy to take it. And then if they want to bolt us, we can Swords our own creature. In that case, I kind of need to wasteland them first. You have to draw 2 first. Okay. Okay. Swords our own creature. Don't think it's enough, but... yeah. So if we Swords our own creature... and 3, go to 6, go to 3, lose to the Murktide. Yeah. Tough. Let's not make those mistakes again. These 4 are great. Oof, Liberator. Plagues I don't mind. The Wrenns are a little bit slow. The Safekeeper's a little bit slow. Sure. Why not? Tough. Yeah, honestly, just throwing away that endurance and... I guess Collector Oof wasn't that great, but like going wide, it definitely added up, because that's an extra 3 damage with Dried Arbor as well. Mana, unfortunately. Okay. I think it's the Bog we put back, and then hopefully we find it with the Reclaimer. And then if we go fetch into Dried Arbor and they Swords the Dried Arbor, we then have Wasteland on their land, Reclaimer as a 3/4. I think that's the play. Impressive. Okay. Don't really want to play this out until it's a 3-4. So I'm happy to wait for now. I also just don't have now, in my opinion, the luxury of waiting for a claimant to get online. Four cards. Force and most likely a blue card. Probably rather the Force on the Endurance. Sorry, on the Plague, but... can't do too much about that. But you can see here as well where Plague is just a little bit too slow. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be recovering from this. Tough. Yeah. I don't think there's any chance to get through this, so we'll take the loss. And sadly, just a few matches where it's kind of the wrong side of the deck came. Card advantage is obviously an issue with the deck, but I feel like Esper Sentinels are a nice way to try to get that going. Overall, the list itself didn't feel too bad. It was just kind of like finding the right side of the list is always a tough one. The Wrenns didn't really come up, but it would be cool to try them out a bit more in Maverick. It's always tough because, especially with Fiend Artisan, you have so many good ways to tutor for creatures and of course lands with Knight, that it's really hard to find room for cards like Wrenn. And it really puts pressure on them, really kind of like breaking the power level of what's needed to make it into Maverick these days. Because if you think of those two Wrenns being two Knights, then having access to things like Caracas or Bajuka Bog or Wasteland, especially with Esper Sentinels and Thalias in the list, it's really tough. It's really tough to be able to cut Knight, especially a card you're going to see a lot more consistently than Wrenn. But, you need to make the cut somewhere. And it is really cool to test out a list with sort of kind of a lower curve as well. But yeah, I did feel like there were a few moments across those matches where we just kept drawing into small creatures, which is exactly what this deck is intended to be. But when you have small creatures and fiends, but you only have small creatures to fiend into, it can be pretty tough. So I would love to see a Knight or two in here somewhere. And maybe the Wrenns are more of a sideboard card for the grindy matchups. But yeah, like nothing against the deck itself. I think it's a case of just like, sometimes with Maverick, it's just a case of, what you draw into is what you draw into. There's no two ways about it. You play with what you have. And sometimes that just doesn't line up the way you want it to, which is fine. That's the challenge that I love for FedEx in formats like Legacy. But yeah, obviously the mono red deck we would have wished we had Deafening Silence, but I felt like some of the other decks we were fine having the chalices. But obviously 5 games in a league is not very much to test with, so it would be cool to run back a list like this, Joe, if you're keen on it. I really like the thought of having a lower count. The Safekeeper as well didn't really come up. Obviously nice with protection for Teeg and Oof, but at the same time, if we have Thoughtseize and Chalice, maybe the Safekeeper isn't needed, and we could go up on something like Thalia, or have like a a Knight in there somewhere. A lot of small things to think about, but yeah, really enjoyed the list. Had some pretty good nice wins against Death and Taxes and 8cast. That was pretty cool, getting the Plague Engineer and Collect Oof down. I could see the Swamp coming out and potentially going up another Wasteland, just because we want to have access to Reclaimer. I could also see a Flagstones in here as a white source, which obviously just allows us to actually use the Reclaimer to accelerate on mana, which is pretty nice. The trophies were probably the only other card that I felt were a little bit too slow. And obviously giving them a card as well is just a 2-for-1, which you could say that if you're trading with something like a Chalice, the 2-for-1's worth it because it's turning off so many of your cards. But I feel like potentially Path or some other removal spell would be nicer, just 1 mana. A little bit easier on mana as well. Obviously against a deck like Blue-Red Delver or Death and Taxes, you don't always want to go for your black mana early on because of Wasteland. So it's another small thing with Path being pretty cool. But yeah, really enjoyed the list. Very happy to run it back as well. But hope you guys enjoyed this. A lot of downtime this time in between sort of player movements. And I think that's always tough, trying to fill the downtime when I do stream a league like this. So potentially looking at some software that allows me to kind of cut out that dead space without really cutting out sort of my my thoughts. So looking forward to that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, definitely make sure you're following the channel, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.